and welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host. This evening's topic is a general overview of SCORE and exactly what SCORE does and all the wonderful communications and the way that the SCORE organization runs. And with me to discuss this evening's topic is Bob Potter from SCORE. Bob, how are you?
Good, Pete. How are you? Thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks for coming down. So I guess my first question for you is exactly, what is SCORE? What do you guys do?
Well, we get asked that a lot.
All right.
SCORE, the word stands for the Service Corps of Retired Executives.
Okay.
But we're not all retired. We have a lot of working professionals and retired professionals volunteering at SCORE. And this is a well-timed show because we're celebrating our 50th anniversary for SCORE, which is a national organization.
Okay.
We've got about 11,000 volunteers around the country. Okay. We have 320 chapters around the country, and here in Southeast Connecticut, and our chapter is the Southeast Connecticut chapter of SCORE. Okay. We've got over 30 volunteers meeting weekly, providing free and confidential advice and direction and mentoring to clients throughout the Southeast Connecticut area.
Now, if you sign up for a workshop or a mentoring session, what can you expect?
Well, first you can expect some people to sit and listen. All right. All of our counselors, all of our volunteers are trained. Okay. In fact, they have to receive certification by SCORE before they can really sit down and provide advice. Okay. And one of the things that we really focus on is sitting and listening. It's really an opportunity if you were a client the first time coming into SCORE, just like we're sitting here. Right. We're there to listen to you, to try to learn about what is it you want to do. Do you want to start up a small business? Do you have a small business? We're really a resource to provide as much direction and counseling and advice that will help you really succeed as an entrepreneur. Okay.
Now, as far as you said you cover southeastern Connecticut, what are some of the towns that you cover?
To the west, we're in Guilford and Madison, and then here in the old Saybrook area. And then if you move east, we're in Waterford, and kind of up north in Norwich and Middletown. So in all, we're in about 7 mentoring locations. All right. Our office, if you will, is there at the Chamber of Commerce building right on Main Street in Old Saybrook.
Okay. Aha. I didn't know you were in Old Saybrook at the Chamber office.
Yeah, they allow us to share some space there, which is a great location.
It is.
Because we all have kind of the same goal. How are we going to help business, particularly small business, grow in Southeast Connecticut?
Exactly. Now, how are things going? Are you guys busy?
We are busy.
Are you?
We are providing monthly free mentoring sessions. And in addition to that, we provide about 30 free workshops throughout the year. Okay. So the workshops are on subjects, everything from managing your business finances to social media, to marketing on the internet, to how to write a business plan.
Really?
So it's really the full menu of kind of tools that starting up a small business or running a small business. And from those workshops, we tend to get a lot of clients coming in for further follow-up one-on-one counseling.
Now, how long are the workshops? They're usually a couple hours?
Yeah, they're a couple of hours, and we have great support from many of the local banks as our sponsors. So what's great there is when we have workshops that talk about how do you go and get a small business loan. Right. We happen to have some banks there, local banks that would be very happy to talk with you about a small business loan. So again, we always look to ways to really support the business community and also be kind of a conduit, a catalyst between a small business entrepreneur and resources that will help them succeed.
Now, exactly. Well, we talked about it a little bit during what is SCORE, but what kind of mentoring does SCORE provide?
Well, areas that we find, particularly with people who have an idea, they have a dream.
Right.
They want to start a small business.
Okay.
And in that initial session, they're hour long, we try to understand what is it that you really want to do and why do you want to do it? What's your passion? What's your experience? What are areas that we could help you most in? And generally find that the first step is they need help in a business plan.
Okay.
And so really kind of helping them put together a business plan, which is a great exercise because it can really challenge you in a lot of the areas that you may not know, you need help on. And in particular, we find that, yeah, well, those are, you may not know about how to do that, and that's what we're here for. Right. We're here to help you kind of fill in those blanks. And generally, we find that if we can establish really kind of a long-term resource relationship with clients, that's the best because we want to, over a long period of time, really help in the foundations of what does it take, what do I need to do, what are what we call first things first approaches to laying the foundation to start up your small business. But we're, you know, it's interesting, we're kind of, I think, known as kind of the small business startup resource, and that's a big part of who we see and who we talk to. But I think another area that we're very active in is if you already have an established small business. You've been up and running for a few years and now you're really looking for some very specific advice in key areas of your business. So SCORE has a lot of resources to help you there.
Now, as far as meeting with your clients and doing your getting your information out, as far as like if I ran a small business and found out about you guys, you said your meetings are confidential. Where do you normally meet?
We meet in a number of locations. We meet in quite a few of the banks, buildings around here. The meetings are confidential. Information you share with us is confidential.
Right.
That's really part of our requirements in providing business advice. And to set up and schedule a meeting, you just go online to our website, www.sect.score.org. The SECT is Southeast Connecticut. And you'll come to our website and you'll see very clearly, right on the landing page, how to schedule a free mentoring session. You click on that and that starts the process.
Okay. And as far as, does SCORE offer services other than business mentoring?
Well, everything that'll help you succeed in your small business is where we focus. And, you know, business is business is business.
Right.
We may have specific expertise in your area, or we may help connect you with our 11,000, and someone within that group of volunteers nationwide very likely has a very real knowledge and background in your very specific business. And it can be so varied. If you're an established small business, you may be looking for guidance in terms of how do you set up benefit programs. What kind of small business taxation policies do you have in place, or insurance? Or sometimes with small businesses, people are looking, they've had their small business and they're looking to move on. So either selling their business, evolving out of running that business. What are the next steps there? We have quite a few people that ask us for advice along those lines.
And I'm sure you guys talk about helping the business once they get up and running, like advertising and getting the word out on the business.
Well, we do. And that's one of the areas in our workshops particularly, whether it's social media, whether it's internet marketing, how to be your own press agent. How to put together information and provide it to the media channels that we have here in Southeast Connecticut. I think one of the things that we have to realize, even though we talk so much about social media, internet media, all these media organizations, particularly newspapers, have print and they have online. And one thing they're looking for is content. And they want to talk about and focus on local businesses and local people and local personalities. So if you can help provide that information, It's great for everybody. It's great for the media outlet. It's great for the small business. And we help people learn how to do that.
And as you and I both know, sometimes it's not as easy as it seems.
Yeah, it's true. And what we really try to also focus on as we listen to the needs of the clients, what is it right now? Some of the questions we ask, what's keeping you up at night? What are you worried about? You know, what is it that when you go in on Monday is kind of staring you in the face as this is something we really need to get a handle on, either in my current business or, gee, in starting up my business, what do I need to do first to lay that foundation?
Exactly. And are business secrets safe with SCORE?
They are.
Okay.
Confidentiality, and that's really important because sometimes people come in with a new business idea. And they want to have the sense of security and comfort that if I'm going to talk with you about my new business idea, which who knows, maybe becomes $1 million idea, that's confidential with SCORE. And that's one of the key tenets of our organization, confidentiality.
I was going to say, and once you sit down with the person that you're meeting with one-on-one and you've mentioned to them, I'm sure, that this meeting will be held in confidence and whatever is said here does not leave this room.
Yeah, we like to, particularly in first-time meetings, kind of lay out what do we do, who are we, much as we're talking here now. What is SCORE? How do you work with us? And I think communication, not only in how we mentor, but how we run our businesses is really a critical success factor. So I think we try to focus on what will be those success factors, what really are those critical steps, and particularly with small businesses that are just starting up, getting their feet on the ground, we really like to get together with them as quickly as possible. Once you get that business up and running, we really are encouraging them, now come and sit and talk to us. And let's help you stay on track, stay on focus with what are some of the priorities now you want to really be attentive to.
Okay. And actually, we're about to go into a break in about 30 seconds, about 20 seconds or so. But before we do, website for SCORE one more time is?
www.sect.score.org. And that's the Southeast Connecticut website. And the big website for SCORE National is www.score.org.
All right. Bob, would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Sure, I'd love to. Thanks,
All right. We'll be right back after a short break.
Will the following students please report to the high school main office? Cassie Hanks, because you're fat. Ryan Johnson, because you're stupid. Christian Falloway, because you're gay.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host, sitting here with Bob Potter from SCORE. Bob, welcome back.
Thanks, Pete. It's nice to be back.
It's nice to be, exactly, it is nice to be back. So before the break, we were talking a little bit about SCORE, and for those of our TV viewers and radio listeners that are just joining us, I was wondering if maybe we can tell them a little bit about what SCORE is.
Sure. SCORE is a national organization. We have over 11,000 volunteers across the country, 320 chapters. SCORE is celebrating its 50th anniversary, founded back in 1964. And in Southeast Connecticut, we've got 7 locations where we provide free business mentoring to people who want to start up a business or already have a small business. So we're just a great, free, confidential business mentoring resource.
And as far as where we are in southeastern Connecticut, your mentoring office is the Old Saybrook Chamber of Commerce, I believe.
We are headquartered over in the Old Saybrook Chamber of Commerce.
All right.
We mentor out of locations in the west in Guilford and Madison.
All right.
We mentor in Old Saybrook and Essex. And then up to the north in Middletown and Norwich, and to the east in Waterford. We generally are mentoring out of banks, sometimes at libraries.
Okay, sure.
It's quite simple. If you want to set up a mentoring session, just go online to our website, click on schedule free mentoring session. We'll find a location and a time that is convenient to you. We mentor 2 to 4 times a month in all these various locations. So I guarantee you there's someplace near you at a time that's convenient for you to come over and see us. And you can also call us to set up a scheduled appointment. And that's easy to do, 1-800-634-0245.
Okay.
And you can schedule an appointment that way as well.
According to my notes here, you can actually go online and schedule an appointment too.
Indeed. Just go to www.sect.score.org.
Okay. And how many mentors do you have?
We have over 30 volunteers, and we're all volunteers.
I was going to say you're all volunteer. Yeah, we want to get that out.
We are made up of retired business executives and working business executives. So we really have an amazing range of experiences and skills and knowledge in business. And we enjoy meeting with people and listening to them. That's kind of a key tenet of SCORE. Listen, so we can learn where we may be able to provide some really helpful business advice.
Now, I'm assuming you're one of, besides being the chapter president of SCORE for this area, I'm sure you've mentored maybe 1 or 2 over the years.
I am. I've been with SCORE over 3 years. I've been the chairman of our SCORE chapter since October.
Okay.
And I actually mentor with a couple of other volunteers over in Essex.
All right.
At the Essex Library. We mentor there twice a month.
Okay.
And we really have, it's so interesting because we have such a range of people, entrepreneurs, coming in, seeking some advice, some direction. So for us, it's always interesting because we know something about the client before they come in. They provide us with information.
Okay.
They tell us what is it they want help on, what kind of business they're looking to start up, or what kind of business are they already in. So we really try to prep in advance so we know kind of what the client is looking for, and then really listen in that hour-long session to what their needs are, and really start to establish a dialogue and go from there.
Now, for all the years you've been mentoring, do you have a favorite story or a favorite memory with a specific?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
Oh, thank you.
It's such a range. The range is when people come in wanting to start up a small restaurant.
Okay.
Or someone says, gee, I really want to provide a very unique hair salon. We have someone who is looking to put together a consortium of health providers.
Okay.
We've talked to someone who has what they believe a very proprietary online security product. We've talked to someone who has a music business, and how do they expand their customer base, both in their facility and then take the training to the customer. We've even had people, well, not a lot, but I do recall someone coming in and saying, how do I set up a medical marijuana growing facility? So that gives you an idea. It's a very wide range. So you can imagine for the counselors, it's always interesting. It's always challenging. And again, we find that in many cases, the fundamentals still apply. Business is business is business.
Right.
What is your strategic plan? What is your financing? How do you generate awareness for your product or services? Right. Operationally, how are you set up from when you started and where you are now?
Right.
So I think any business, either in the startup phase or in the initial growing stages, has some of the very common challenges.
Okay.
And it's oftentimes those areas that we want to make sure that the client is very much focused on. And it's almost having that hour to sit and talk to someone across the table that you don't have sometimes when you're running a business day to day. You really don't always have someone that you could take time out with and say, hey, I'm having a challenge, this is a problem, what do you think?
Right.
And sometimes just going through that process helps the client come to, I think that's where I really need to focus right now.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as you said, you help everybody that comes and participates with the program do like a business model or like a strategic plan. How detailed are they?
Well,
or does it depend on
one of the great things about SCORE is if you go to our national website, www.score.org, there is an enormous amount of business resource information. We can help you with a simple 3-page business plan, or you can have the expanded Harvard MBA version of the business plan. But you may be looking at, how do I really utilize online marketing? Right. How do I make social media? I don't have an advertising budget.
Right.
What can I do as a small entrepreneur to really find information and guidance in a lot of these areas? And how can I get to it quickly? Right. And how usable is it? So there is so much. I even brought for the show. We have a ton of literature that we provide, printed literature. So either printed or online. This is simple steps for starting your business. Okay. This is a 60-page free catalog that we provide our clients. Plus, we also do 30 workshops a year on everything from managing your business finances to social media to how to use QuickBooks.
Okay, sure.
How to write a business plan. So it's a full menu, full range of resources. And what's nice about being here on your show, Pete, is I still think SCORE is the best kept secret around.
Nobody, they don't know about SCORE, do they?
People really know about us. So maybe we need to do a better job on increasing awareness. I was going
to say, you might want to take your own marketing course on how to do marketing and social media. On how to go through SCORE. Now, as far as the workshops, again, a couple times a year, couple hours.
We have workshops monthly. Workshops generally are maybe around 2 hours. We hold them in a number of places around Southeast Connecticut. Many of the local banks are our sponsors. Sure. So oftentimes we hold them at their facilities or at libraries. And we have speakers with expertise come and talk on just a range of subjects. They're free. And we do, in terms of creating awareness for these workshops, we do a lot of media, a lot of press releases in local papers. You'll see it in Patch and whatever Patch might be in your regional area.
That would be Clinton.
So you'll see us on the Clinton Patch regularly. So we do get good attendance. And from those workshops, a lot of the attendees, and I must say quite a few of the attendees at the workshops are in startup mode. Okay. I want to start up a business. So it's also a great opportunity to start signing people up and steering them to a one-on-one, free, confidential client services that we provide.
Okay. And before I forget, as you and I are sitting here talking, there's another one of your members sitting over on the side watching us do this fine program right now. And who is he?
That's John Ferrara. John is the vice chair of our chapter. Okay. John's also a full-time volunteer. He works with so many of these great organizations in Southeast Connecticut. So probably a lot of your viewers already know John.
Exactly.
And it's, again, John's like many of our volunteers. bringing business experience, a real passion for helping people succeed.
Okay.
Someone who really is, again, going through the SCORE, what we call mentoring methodology. We really do like all of our volunteers to be well trained.
Okay.
In fact, they have to be. They have to receive the certificate
Exactly.
that they've gone through the training program. And people like John and others who have been in SCORE for quite some time also mentor new members.
Okay.
And recruiting new members is also a big part of my job at SCORE. We are always looking for individuals who would like to share their business knowledge and expertise and help others, just as people have helped them along the way succeed. It's a great way to give back, but it's also really, as I gave you some examples of the variety of clients we meet with, it really is a lot of fun.
I was going to say, you guys also have a little bit of fun besides doing your mentoring and doing your workshops and everything?
We do. We do. The mentoring teams at these 7 different locations I mentioned, team is a key word. They are teams. Okay. And they're getting together to meet with clients. They share and support one another in providing, I think, really good advice. I found through SCORE, I've met a lot of people here in Southeast Connecticut that I wouldn't have gotten to know beforehand. People like John Ferrara, who helped me a lot as the new chair. I turn to John, and he gives me some good advice.
There you go.
And keeps me from getting into too much trouble.
Getting into too much trouble. Now, as far as, before we say goodnight, as far as the training that the mentors have to take, is it pretty extensive?
It's not really that much. It's just really something we require. We want our new members to really be schooled in how SCORE has learned is the most effective way to mentor. And I think the key word there is listening, being really good listeners with clients, really learning about what they need to do. We also, a lot of our members help us administratively in running this small, we're a nonprofit. Right. SCORE is a business resource partner of the U.S. Small Business. So SBA, we're a resource partner there. And they also, volunteers in our organization, help us really connect with a lot of other organizations within Southeast Connecticut that are trying to, again, help people succeed and improve business in this part of the world.
All right. Well, Bob Potter with SCORE, I want to thank you for coming down today.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Hopefully we'll have you on again.
Well, I look forward to it. Thanks very much.
On behalf of Bob Potter, I'm Peter Mezzetti and John Ferrara, thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.